What's going on, everybody? Happy 4th of July. And I wanted to take a little moment here today to talk a little bit about some of, we can call it the mental side of baseball, if you will, but really it's some more like tactics and strategies for players specifically on one of the things when it comes to the mental game. We have to appreciate the skills and the success that we have when we have it, aka something called active appreciation. Okay, had a great call with a player the other day who ended up coming on to join and train with me, and one of the questions that he asked me specifically was, we're talking about, hey, you're got your skills routine dialed in, you're getting your swings in, you are getting your grounders in, you're getting the baseball side of things in, you're getting your swings off, you're doing all that stuff, and you work out some, but hey, what do I do when I get done with all of that? And I feel like I either haven't done enough, I need to do more, I feel like I can't sit down and I gotta, get up and do things. First off, I was like, dude, hey, more power to you. That is a great, not only approach to have to things, is that drive, that motivation to keep getting better and improving, but at the same time it can also be a bit of a performance killer, because then with that kind of thinking we get to the point where we aren't satisfied with where we're at. We always have to go, feel like we're doing something, or we're not getting better, we're getting worse, whether it's just the things that coaches tell us to be a grinder, to do all these kinds of things, right? And I'm like, hey, you've got to be able to take a moment and appreciate your skills for where you're at right now. If you've done all the work that you needed to do that day, then you've 100% got to take time to celebrate you, to appreciate the work that you did, and just go be a kid, go enjoy yourself, right? The kid's 14, going on 20 kind of thing. But it's like, hey, you've got to take care of you. If you've done what you need to do that day, you've got your work in, you've got your lift in, then whatever else you want to do, if you still have that drive and motivation to go and push yourself, to get a good workout in, to go get some extra swings in, like whatever it is, all the power to you. But when we come in from the mindset of, man, I'm just not good enough, I got to do more, I got to do this, I got to do that, we are telling not only our subconscious, but something called our self-image, that we're not good enough. And we believe the things that we tell ourselves, whether or not we want that thing. We're talking about the thing that we want versus the thing that we don't want. So quick example is, I don't want to chase the slider in the dirt. Well, now you're telling your mind to focus on chasing that slider in the dirt. That's the thing you don't want to have happen, right? So lots of thoughts were coming into my head of what to talk about on this video as I was out finishing a walk that I was doing, and a couple pieces came to mind thinking about the guys that I'm working with. Some of these guys, a couple of these guys are out traveling a little bit more right now, and it's like, man, I mean, you can see I'm sweating, right? One of the first things that came to my mind as I stepped out to go for the walk, it's about 5 o'clock here on Saturday, so the hotter part of the day here in Texas. And I thought back to my playing days, and especially almost the opposite back in Kansas, where it is like cold a lot of times in the early part of the season, and guys are like, man, it's so cold out, I don't want to be out here, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Like, they're so focused on the weather and, oh, it's so hot, oh my God, like they let it bring their energy down. It distracts them, it takes their attention away from the game, from the things that they need to be doing, right? Happens all the time. Can be all different kinds of things. Another great example is guys facing a player. Oh man, this guy's a D1 commit, he's going to Baylor, he's going to Tech, he's going to Vandy. Oh, it's a D1 pitcher on the bump. Oh, this guy's getting drafted. And immediately these players that aren't as good as him put this guy on an extreme pedestal, and they're like, oh dude, I'm screwed, I don't have any college looking at me, like how am I supposed to face that guy who's going D1, like this and that? It's like, man, we are focused on the wrong things right now. So on this video, aside from, you know, what I've shared here so far, what I wanted to take a minute to talk about, and something I may clip out and use specifically for like my private clients, the players that are working with me outside of this, is a specific strategy that players can use to get their mind right outside of the game, outside of practice, outside of the field. Because wherever you are taking yourself, you are carrying whatever baggage you have with you, the weight of who you are as a player, the way that you think, the way that you show up, the beliefs that you have, all of that shows up with you wherever it is that you go. It's a very simple strategy. I'm going to give kind of a couple of different scenarios that may not be baseball specific at first, but we will tie it back in to the baseball side. So the tactic, the strategy is doing what I'm doing right now, minus carrying your phone around and making a video, is doing a wealth walk. And I got this, you know, specific term from a mentor of mine in the business coaching side. And really it's hard to just put Jesse Elder in the bubble of a business coach, but on the concept of the wealth walk, okay, is very simply is like, hey, what's something I can have players do, you know, if they're out at a tournament, you know, they had a bad game, bad day, like going out to the cages and getting a bunch of swings off could be helpful. Maybe you get that little technique piece dialed in that's throwing your swing off for that day, you know, whatever's going on. But a lot of times it is more of the mental side that's got to get switched. And it's a lot of pressure that's getting put on ourselves to perform. And one of the ways that we have to get out of that pressure is through active appreciation. Now, there's a difference between gratitude and appreciation in my mind. And gratitude would be, I am grateful for something that's happened in the past or something that's going to happen in the future. Versus active appreciation is when you're out on this walk, you are actively appreciating, like me in particular right now, man, how beautiful of a day it is. It is a great day outside. Even though it's warm, the grass is green everywhere around. There's beautiful homes all the way around me. And I'm getting to see wealth as I'm out on this walk. And you start to just connect dots. And these dots stay in the same positive frequency, the same mindset, the same kind of flow of water, if you will, the flow of the idea of the type of, shall we say, energy that you want to have, okay? And when I'm talking about energy, I want you to almost imagine like you're wearing a different colored shirt, a different shirt for every type of emotion that's out there. And those emotions are different energies and they're different colors. So happiness, frustration, jealousy, anger, fear, any of these types of emotions, right, are different colored shirts. And these shirts, these colors change. We act differently, we think differently, we talk differently when we're in what we call this emotional state, okay? And this emotional state is typically is what's going to drive how you're thinking, how you're acting, the way you're behaving, the beliefs that you have in any given moment, okay? And a lot of times why it's so hard for athletes and for players to get their mind right in the middle of a game is because the negative emotions, the anger, the frustration, the fear, the jealousy, like whatever, has such a stronger hold on your nervous system, on your body. That shirt's gripping tighter on you. And it takes so much longer for you to let that anger and frustration go. And it's a literal change in your chemistry that is continually affecting you throughout the game, because it can take 30 minutes, an hour or more, depending on what your, we'll say, emotional intelligence is like, your emotional the other word I'm looking, maturity, okay? How well you are at handling your emotions, being able to not always be so reactive to things, okay? So the wealth walk. I'm gonna go from this strategy and how I learned this technique and how I put it into practice. And then we'll talk a little bit about how athletes, how players can put this into practice to help shift their mind and get focused on where they need to be, okay? So wealth in particular, thinking about wealth as like a frequency, as an energy, and being able to control your energy and control your thoughts and guide them into the right direction that you want to have. So if you want to be wealthier, if you want to be richer, you wanted to have more money, one of the things is improving your quote wealth frequency, getting your energy and your thoughts and your feelings around money improving in a positive direction, and not thinking about all of the negative ways in which you're not good enough, you're not rich enough, like, excuse me, whatever the case is, okay? The strategy is simple, like I mentioned. You're going out for a walk and you're actively appreciating the things that are around you, and then you try to build on connecting those dots into other aspects that are related to the topic at hand. So you don't have to, especially as a baseball player, probably not going to want to necessarily do it for money or for wealth, right? And I'm going to turn around here a little bit just because walking straight into the sun over there, I'm worried I'm going to overheat this phone and ruin a good video. So you can change the topic, but you're going in with an open mind and kind of have an appreciation around one topic, one thing that you want to improve your frequency on, shall we say, okay? So I'm going out and I'm appreciating, man, this neighbor over here, they sure take care of their yard. And man, when they take care of their yard like that, you know, they've got a nice lawnmower, riding lawnmower to keep up with that. And man, the money that they got to have to be able to get one of those and to keep their yard this clean, this nice, this green, the fertilizer, all the stuff, the money they got to put into that, dude, that is amazing. Like, good for him, for my neighbor, for being able to have the funds, have the time, have the patience, have the energy to go and do that, right? Like, kudos to him. And I just have that active appreciation for that moment, and then I move on. And then I keep looking for positive things that I want to appreciate that are around me. And maybe it's something you appreciate that is already in your life that maybe you're not necessarily seeing around you, but you find a way to get into that active appreciation state, okay? Now, this just keeps building. You keep expanding on it. You keep looking for more ways to appreciate things. You keep looking for more ways to expand your frequency. There is really no limit to how much expansion we can have with that, how good things can get on that front. And just start to look for those ways that you can expand those dots. All right, bear with me 1 second here. We got some loud traffic coming in. Neighbor on the ATV back there. So with the active appreciation, let's take it over to the sports side, right? So you could take it at, you know, depending on where you're going for the walk, maybe you don't always see something that you are able to connect the dots back to your game. If you want to, you know, if you didn't pitch very well that day, you didn't hit very well that day, like whatever it is that you want to feel better about, just getting general with the active appreciation is moving you in that right direction. And then after you've been around, you know, walked around a little bit and you've appreciated, man, that's a really nice car they got over there. And not that, here's the thing, you can't have judgment, you can't have jealousy, you can't have fear around it that you don't have something that somebody else does, whatever the case. We are living in a world that has literally everything that pretty much every human being on the planet could possibly need, okay? AKA, we live in an abundant world. So we have to have that abundant mindset. And especially with athletes, we get caught up in our heads of, oh man, I didn't get a hit today. And it's like, we're never going to get a hit ever again just because we didn't get a hit today, right? That's not true. There's tons more hits coming your way. There's tons more at-bats coming your way, and more opportunities that are going to be coming, right? There's always going to be more that's going to be coming to us. So when we take the time to appreciate things and start on a general level, just to raise what we'll call your overall vibration, your overall frequency, the way that you feel about yourself internally as you're going around. Like, you can go out to a baseball field, go out to a complex, and watch as people are leaving and tell who had a good day and who had a bad day just by how they carry themselves, the looks on their faces, right? You know, easily can tell who won just by the team walking out, how they look, how they handle themselves. And that energy, those thoughts, those feelings, those beliefs, whatever it is carrying around with them at a heavier level, especially after a game that didn't go so well, a day that didn't go so well, things like that. So you don't have to force it. And that's the main thing, is you don't want to force this action, this wealth walk. And when you start to go at first, when you haven't done something like this before, you might find yourself judging yourself for, man, this is weird, this is stupid, why am I doing this? You know, this isn't working, whatever the case, okay? Gotta let that go, first off. This isn't something I'm asking you guys to share publicly on social media like I am. Even, you don't even have to tell your parents, to tell your teammates about, right? Like, this is something you are doing for you so that you can be the best version of you showing up to the field for that game tomorrow. And when you feel better about yourself showing up the next day, that same day, later that night, whenever it is, you are automatically putting yourself in a better position to succeed, simply because you came in with the right energy, the right focus, the right intensity, and the right frequency, okay? So if there's some other things that come to mind later, I might expand on this stuff, but that's the core concept of the wealth walk, is getting out and being in active appreciation of what you are seeing around you, or things that are actively good in your life right now, right? So a couple examples on the baseball side is thinking about, you can start thinking about your game, how you did that day, whatever, and pick out something that you did well. You could have made a great diving play. You could have went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, but you made a great diving play that saved a run, and you can focus and appreciate on that part of your day. And you can start there and expand out and keep looking for more success that you've had. And the more recent, like the more now that it is, the better. And all you're doing is continuing to expand on that type of energy, on that frequency, on those good vibes, if you will, right? And that's, to me, one of the things that, like, especially going through college and stuff, when, you know, I'm only 35, so I'm still pretty young, but, you know, like, oh man, good vibes, good times, like, people say those and throw those terms around all the time, but like, they don't ever really appreciate or maybe even understand, like, the law of attraction and how energy flows and how powerful your emotional state is. A state being a state of mind, a state of being. So people talk about flow state, right? Being in the zone, being in flow. And this is a flow state. All you're doing is getting in a flow, in a zone related to whatever it is that thing that you're doing. Obviously, athletes, all of you guys have been in the zone before, you've been in flow before, and you felt what it feels like to be completely locked into the moment. You're not caught up in the distractions of the other team, the other dugout, the fans, what you're gonna do after the game. Like, you are just letting it loose, you're playing free, you're playing loose, you're having a great time, and you're probably playing really well, right? Another easy example of this is video games, okay? Especially, I was gonna say especially with kids, right? It's easy to do the kid example, but dude, you know, adults easily just binge out on video games all the time, right? Like, it doesn't necessarily matter the age, but it's super easy. That's one of the reasons probably why my parents were like, oh, you only, you know, I didn't really have any video games growing up, and it was limited to like 1 hour a day of like TV time. The rest was, hey, get outside, go play, go do other things, right? Is we can get in the zone, in the flow on playing video games, and like all of a sudden time passes and it's like 5-6 hours later, and you're like, man, I felt like I just got on this thing, felt like I've barely been playing. And you just completely tune out time, space, everything else all around us, right? Like, somebody could come in damn near and rob the house and you're just over there gaming away with your headset on, not even noticing that somebody broke in and stole the TV from the other room, right? Like, that's an extreme example, but you get the picture, you get the idea there. So anything else I feel like at this point is probably just rambling on. So learning how to get into active appreciation, into a flow zone, into a flow state around you controlling appreciation, starting with that, then you're in this expanded capacity. Your internal self has literally grown stronger, has gotten stronger, has expanded just by, going out and doing this one simple exercise. And now, now this expanded version of you is going out wherever it is that you're going. If you're going out to the ball field later, if you're, gonna go relax and hang out with the guys down in the hotel, down in the plaza, or go to a couple buddies' rooms and you guys are gonna link up and play MLB The Show. Like, whatever it is, you guys are now gonna have that improved state of being, that you're not gonna show up to it and be the Debbie Downer guy, the guy that's pissed still because, he swung at a pitch and that was strike 3 and it cost him the game, or whatever it is, right? Like, you are not being that same guy and allowing that mood to kill everybody. So take the time to practice that active appreciation, add that into your life when needed. And it's something you can easily do outside of baseball, outside of practice, outside of the cage, outside of the gym. And it's a way to ultimately get your mind right, get your thinking right, get clear, get out of that negative state that you've been in, and allow yourself to be in a good mood for goddamn once, right? Like, it's so fucking easy to be in a bad mood and to be pissed about not playing well. How about we just fucking get in a goddamn good mood for once, because we fucking want to. And I can cuss because I fucking want to, and I can get hyped up about this because I fucking want to, right? I'm not gonna get too sensitive, too worked up that a younger player just heard me cuss when his teachers cuss all the time, his parents cuss all the time. Like, I'm allowing whatever's inside of me to come out in the moment when it's happening. And this is something where you're doing essentially that same kind of thing through active appreciation, through practicing feeling good, because you want to be in control of that. Okay, so try that out. Let me know how it goes. The other piece that goes with this, and the reason why I mentioned before, where it's probably going to sound like something you either don't want to do, that you don't buy into, whatever, is because you're going to go into it, you're going to try it, you're going to judge it, because you're expecting an immediate change. You're expecting the mood to immediately change. And if you do it right, it will. But it's what happens afterwards. It's all of the effects that happen afterwards because you are in this expanded state. Okay. And I want to share 2 really quick things as I finish this up here. All right. The first one, I was just chatting with my mom. I think it was yesterday actually. And, she was talking about, I was asking her about her car that she had, her dad's truck. Because Dad mentioned to me a while back, he was looking at getting a new truck, or Mom wanted a new car or something, whatever. And I was like, well, what are you going to get on trade-in for that, or this and that? And then she's like, oh, well, that's not on our mind right now. We've just had a lot of bills come in, a lot of, things hit all at once. I was like, hey, I get it, all good. And she said, hey, have you ever noticed that it just kind of all tends to hit at once? And I was like, yeah, but I try not to look at it that way. And to me, that's an example of this, is you get caught up in the things that you focus on. What you are thinking about, you are attracting more of that same kind of thing to you. Now, I'm not saying like all of the different bills and things that happened that piled up is because she was thinking about those things happening, but it is something I want to use as an example here, which leads me to the last story, the last part of this. Anybody staying and watching through this long, I appreciate you guys checking in and staying in on this, because I think there's a lot of good nuggets in here, but I also understand your time is valuable And also a lot of people's attention spans aren't maybe clear enough, focused enough to stay locked in on this, right? The vast majority of people would have already scrolled after like the first 30 seconds of the video, and here we are like 20 minutes in, right? So there's one of the big reasons why we do this, there's science backed to this stuff, okay? The simplest term that we can put kind of that science term into is what's called your reticular activating system, or your RAS. All right, in video games term, this is target acquired, target locked. You know, we've got the target, we've got where we're gonna drop that EMP on everybody, or we're gonna drop the care package on, right? Your mind becomes focused. This RAS is your focusing system, if you will. All right, and what that means is, the easiest example I can give you is whatever kind of, if you're not driving yet, players, you know, if you don't have a car, like that's fine, but your parents do, and you know what kind of car that they drive around, right? When you're out and about, when you're riding out in the road with them and you see other cars passing you by, or you pull up to the complex and you're seeing all these other cars parked around, you're gonna notice, even, you know, maybe a quick double take, or maybe it's just like you take a quick note of it, different color, like it doesn't have to be the exact same color, exact same car, but you're gonna notice when that car that your parents have, or that you have, that other people have that when you're out and about, even if it's a different color, right? That's the easiest example of your RAS, your reticular activating system at work, okay? This is your guidance system of your alertness and your awareness, in particular, of the things that you want to be on the lookout for, okay? And I'm gonna give you, to me, this is probably one of the coolest examples of it, of the RAS system at work. And there's probably other people who have way cooler stories, you know, manifestation and things like that. Like this could be under that category, but I'm not quite going down that road. A few years ago, I moved to North Carolina for a new job over there, to work at a golf performance facility. And I was super excited about it. I've always been a UNC, a Tar Heels fan, and I had never been over to North Carolina. So naturally, I'm moving out there on my own. I got all my stuff in my truck, and as I get there, I got to go find a storage unit to unload this stuff because I'm staying in a hotel for a little while, because this was all happening right at Christmas time in 22, I believe. So I left like a couple of days before Christmas, and I'm trying to find a place. I just got the job, and I'm out there and I'm looking for a new place to stay, but I've got all this stuff with me. I can't keep it in the hotel. So I take it over to a storage unit, and I'm just getting in there. I'm just getting ready to head to the facility to unload this stuff. And you know, even right now in this moment, I don't remember the exact song. It was a Lil Wayne song, but I'm just like driving, and I'm stoked. I'm in a great mood, and I'm humming. And I'm just humming this out of nowhere, this old rap song that comes to my mind. And I'm not singing the words. I can't remember what the song was, or even what the lyrics were saying in that moment. But I was humming the tune. I'm like, oh man, that was such a good song. What was that song? I just kept asking myself, man, it's bugging me, man. What's that song? I can't remember it. Kept going. So I get to the storage unit place, and it takes me about an hour to unload everything that I had in there. I had to go up to, you know, the second or third floor and back and forth, take quite a few trips. So basically for like an hour and a half, I stopped asking myself the question. The thought of the song never crossed my mind in that hour and a half. I didn't think anything about it. I'm going and I'm unloading all this stuff, and I get done unloading. I go back out to my truck and I close the door, and within about 10 seconds of getting in my truck to take off, I don't even think about the words. I just start singing the song. Like I start singing the chorus out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, that was the song. I was like so excited. I was like, that was the fucking song. Hell yeah. And I look it up and I play it, and I was like, man, that was a jam. Oh, that was a great song. And I was just in a great mood about it. My mind did the work for me. It searched back into my memories, and it remembered what it was that I was asking myself to come out, and what I wanted to get out of that moment. by going into active appreciation, you are tapping in to your reticular activating system by telling it, we are looking for things that are good in our life. We are looking for these positive things, these good things, because we want more of that. And a great example is understanding that you are going to get back what you put out. You could think about all of the negative things, all of the bad things, and your mind is like, okay, more of that, more of that, more of that. Or you could keep telling yourself, man, how hard I've been working. You know, I'm so close. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep this. Like active appreciation mode, right? Your mind's like, okay, more of that, more of that, more of that. You're going to keep bringing that energy to you, those thoughts to you, those things to you in your life, those people around you in your life, those conversations in your life, by continuing to focus on whichever way that you want to go. The same way that you can plant an amazing field of corn and crops and a plentiful bountiful harvest. Get my words mixed up over here. Of a great crop. Okay, it's just, I've been having some wasps get in my house lately, and I'm like always kind of on the lookout when I'm around my crib of where's the wasp at. I'm like hornets. Some of them, like there goes one right now. It's kind of circling me a little bit. I'm like, get the fuck away from me, bitch. I don't want you in my life. Anyways, the things that you focus on, and even right there, it's like, okay, I'm getting distracted by that. Bring my attention back in, right? On the flip side, you can plant a harvest, you can plant a crop of poison, of, you know, the worst type of, like all weeds, a bunch of junk. Like you can post all that stuff in your garden, in your harvest, and it is going to go. If you water it, it is still going to grow. It is still going to bloom and blossom. And that thing, the poison versus the thing, all of the corn, the crops, the good stuff that you want to harvest, when you keep nourishing it, when you keep giving it energy, when you keep watering it, it is going to grow regardless of what you wanted. It's going to go off of what actually happened, what actually was watered, the energy and the attention that it was given. All right. So this one got deeper, a little bit longer than I wanted to, but there was a few kind of nugget strings bouncing around in my mind that I wanted to try to connect to share with you guys here today. All right. So appreciate you guys. For those of you that I'm sharing this with on the internal side, as the players, as the athletes, through the program, through the training, then you use this at your discretion, but the more that you use it, the better, right? You have the power to change the way that you're thinking by going through a strategy like this. And starting to get some sweat in my eyes there. I'll finish this up. The other piece is, hey, for everybody who's watching this publicly, I'll share this on Facebook more so, maybe on YouTube, but I'll have it set as like kind of a part of the curriculum for the players who are working with me. Keep plugging away with this and understand the compound effect of you doing this, okay? You doing it once isn't going to ultimately change a ton. You're not going to have a dramatic breakthrough. You're not going to completely change your life by doing this once or even twice or like for a few days. It's something that needs to be compounded. It needs to be done for an extended period of time, because what you're trying to do is expand your capacity on the inside. The same way as you at the beginning of a baseball season, you want to expand your throwing volume to be able to handle more pitches as a pitcher, right? We've got to throw more so that we can throw more later into the year, right? We're building up your throwing volume. This way you're building up your emotional volume, your emotional capacity to be able to handle more, to have a stronger emotional, mental version of you to show up every day. All right. So keep plugging away to all those on Facebook, social media that are checking this out. Appreciate you guys staying this long. And if you like these kind of videos, you know, drop some love, share some insights, some thoughts, some takeaways that you had from this. And if you get to come back to this video from going and doing this work yourself, and I'd love to have you share some of the insights that you had from your journey. All right. Until next time, enjoy your 4th. Be safe out there. Have fun, everybody.